Hey, what's going on everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Steve Rising video. And in today's video, we're going to be upgrading Jolders artifacts now for the end game. Now, I'm sure I ended up saying that name wrong somehow, so make sure you guys tell me that in the comments below. So we'll be going over the artifacts as was taking a look at some of the god rolls you should be looking for on the mythic weapons that you're most likely wearing on her. And these are going to be the perfect artifacts for a T0 Jolder, so if you don't have any extra copies of her, don't worry, these artifacts are still going to make the most out of her. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you guys do, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already for some more Destiny Rising content. Especially with the new character coming out, we're definitely going to have some guides, so make sure you guys don't miss out on those. And now let's get into it, and first let's talk about the artifacts. So starting off with the first artifact, there's two different choices that I think are both really good. The first one is Resolute Conjunction. This is going to give you a lot of damage resistance for any enemies that are within 15 meters. And because of Jolder's kit, and also just the way that she plays, it means that this thing is essentially always on. You're always going to be close to a lot of enemies, so you're constantly going to be able to take advantage of Resolute Conjunction, always just taking less damage. We already have a lot of healing and overshields built in on the kit, so this is just going to add to the other thing that you really like, which is damage reduction. Although, this is not the only good one that's actually in the slot, because you also have Ring of Abundance, which does kind of build a little bit more into that healing and those shields that you're getting, because it essentially just increases the potency of them. So your healing will be stronger, and your overshields that you get will also be stronger. Now the healing is no joke with the Ring of Abundance. Her healing is already pretty crazy. You can pretty much just stand and take damage, but this makes it even crazier. You do end up actually having a lot more overshields and bigger overshields. Like most of the time, it is not rare for you to have like full health and a full overshield with the Ring of Abundance. So both of these are going to work pretty well, and they're both going to be amazing on Jolder. Now for the second artifact, again we're going to have two of them that are going to be really good. It just kind of depends what you're looking for. First of all, we have Unrelenting Evolution. Whenever we have some damage resistant effects, we basically just keep getting more stacks of armor, meaning that we're going to be taking even less damage. This, plus a Resolute Conjunction in the first slot, essentially gives you a crazy amount of damage resistance that you're constantly building up. So this one's going to be really good, and it's going to make her even crazier with her survivability. Although, I guess technically both of them are going to be making her crazy with the survivability. It just kind of depends like which way you want to go. Do you want to go the damage resistance route, or do you want to go the health and shields route, which is also what we're going to be getting with our second artifact in the slot, being the Ring of Safeguarding. This one's going to give us a big overshield whenever our shield is broken, lasting 6 seconds, and with a cooldown of only 16 seconds, this is something that we can constantly proc. So it gives us another way of getting some more overshields, and just another way of just keeping us alive. The Ring of Safeguarding, I think, works the best if you did go with a Ring of Abundance, and for the other one, Unrelenting Evolution, works a little better with Resolute Conjunction. So that's why I was saying that you either want to go for damage reduction for these two, or you want to build into the healing as well as the overshields. Now for the third artifact, Emburied Fury is just going to be it. Emburied Fury is a fantastic artifact, and it works really well on essentially anybody that can use overshields very consistently, and Jolder being one of the best at just being shielded all the time. It means that you can really take advantage of Emburied Fury and get all that increased weapon damage whenever you're shielded. So this is going to work really well, whether it's with your SMG or with your sword, just allowing you to do more damage. And that's basically what you're looking for when it comes to Jolder in the end game. You're just trying to increase your damage a lot more, since you already have used so much survivability built in, and also with our other two first artifacts. So Emburied Fury is going to be fantastic, and it gives a lot of weapon damage. And for the final one, the Ring of Reflection is, I think, just what works the best. You gain another damage bonus whenever you're protected by an overshield, up to a 20% damage bonus increase. And this damage increase is not to any specific type of like damage. So it's not used to your weapons, and it's not used to your abilities. It is just an across the board damage increase, which is going to be very good. And again, because we're always going to have overshields, it means that this is something that we're always going to be able to take advantage of, especially if you have your super. Since you're constantly going to have those overshields in your super, always just taking advantage of that increased damage from both Inverted Fury as well as the Ring of Reflection. And these are the ones that I think are just the best because it really takes advantage of just all that overshield time we have on Jolder. She's just crazy with those overshields, and now we have all the overshields plus a ton of damage in our weapons and a bit of extra damage in our abilities as well. Now let's take a look at the weapons, and the most popular weapon for Jolder is without doubt the Del 5 Kofi. Not only because it allows you to deal with more shields, but also it's just the better of the 2 SMGs out of the mythics. This thing just puts in work. And so the perks that you want to look for on this weapon, for this first perk slot, you're looking for Fraternity. This one's going to give you a big damage increase. This is a very easy requirement to meet, especially in solo activities. This thing is basically always on. So the uptime on this perk is pretty crazy, the damage increase is pretty nice, and whenever you get the perk upgrade, you also gain a bit more handling and a bit of reload speed, just making the weapon even better. Now Surrounded is also very good on this weapon as well, because it gives you a bigger damage increase at 35%, but it does come with the added requirement of having to be next to 3 enemies. But because we're so close range and we're always just in the middle of just a bunch of enemies, this is something you can actually take advantage, I feel like, most of the time because of our playstyle, but it is definitely not as consistent or it doesn't have the uptime of Fraternity, just because it's even easier to keep up. But both of these I think are really good. Use Fraternity for just the ease of use and the uptime wins out in the end. And for the second perk, you want to go for Syncopation. Syncopation is such a good perk. Every 4 round the magazine is going to be doing 280% damage. This is a big amount of damage, and you definitely see it whenever you're using this weapon. It's going to add a lot more damage to this weapon, and it's just the best perk that you can go for on this weapon. And if you get the perk upgrade, it means those powerful rounds are guaranteed to deal precision damage, making this even better, making them more consistent, and just a lot easier to be able to take out some of those bigger enemies. And something that some of you guys may not know, the Syncopation rounds do actually help you take care of some of those impacts. So even though the SMG is not really an impact weapon, if you have Syncopation, you can actually take out the impacts with those powerful rounds, which is something that's pretty nice. And if you're going for the sword, you're basically looking for Surrounded, as well as Dismemberment. Surrounded is essentially good on this sword for the same reason that it was good on the SMG. Use the playstyle that you have with a sword and with Jolder makes it very easy to be surrounded by 3 enemies, and it gives you a huge amount of damage increase. That 35% damage increase is no joke. And on top of that, you can also pair it up with a damage perk on the second slot, which means that you have a double damage perk and you're going to be doing tons and tons of damage with the sword. Now Dismemberment I think is the best, because it makes her have a bit more burst damage. Every time that you do a light attack, you're going to gain 30 sword energy, meaning that you're going to be able to use your heavy attack a lot more often. And also, every light attack will also be increasing the damage of your next heavy attack by 20% damage per stack, and it can stack up 3 times. So you can imagine that your heavy attacks are going to be hitting for a lot of damage whenever you stack up Dismemberment as well as Surrounded. And if those weren't enough damage increases, the perk upgrade again gives you even more percentage each time that you hit a light attack. So instead of increasing your next heavy attack by 20% per light attack, you're going to be doing 25% per light attack to a whopping 75% damage increase on the next heavy. It essentially is the best sword that you can be using of her to just do the most amount of damage as possible. Maybe it doesn't have like the actual utility of something like Patronage Sky, but it definitely makes up for it with just raw damage. Right now, I know she's not like in the best spot when it comes to the end game, just because all of our end game currently is like time based and speed running based, and that's just not what Jolder's really good for. If you had something that focused a lot more on survivability, she would be really shining, but with everyone just having enough survivability to stay alive and just trying to get through things as quickly as possible, especially since she doesn't have any sort of type of mobility built into her, she's just a very tanky character. I hope that we eventually get some endgame that suits her a little bit better. But if you're trying to do something that's a little bit higher than your level, then Jolder's 100% gonna get you through it, because she just never freaking dies, man. She's a tank that just never gives up. She's gonna keep you alive no matter what. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. Leave a like if you did, dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel in case you guys aren't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.